This is where Trev suddenly goes, I have
fucking pressed record. Because you did it right this time, you fuckers.
It's the Year of Shame Challenge.
Hello and welcome. This is episode 1 of the Year of 5 podcast. Let's get it right. This is the Year of Shame Challenge, 2017 podcast. This is episode 1. We are in the challenge, lads.
Good evening.
Evening to you all.
Hello.
I am your host this month, Stephen Addicott, and joining me over the course of the challenge, we have the internet podcast whore himself, Mr. Derek Digital McRoberts. How are you?
Not too bad, not
You're
too bad.
good?
Yeah, taking over.
Okay, and joining us from Brum, or thereabouts, Samuel,
All right.
Linton, Davies.
How are we doing?
Good evening. And finally, if he's pressed
Go
record or
fuck
not,
yourself.
I'm hoping he has. That was probably less than a minute into the recording, and he's swearing. It's the legend, it's Trevor Phillips. How are you doing?
I'm all the better for we actually did a proper counting instead of just saying fucking press record. Arseholes. Yeah, I'm fine. See, when we started the chat, I was all nice and calm, but now you just wound me up. I think you do it deliberately.
Yeah. Right, before we actually get into anything, just a big congratulations to Jace, Neil, AD and Matt completing their Year of Shame. I think we have to say they all did pretty well. Not many controversies on that I can think about. And we're all prepared for them giving us a hard time over our year.
Yeah, well done, guys. Just before you carry on.
Yeah, well done, losers.
No, we're not starting any of this
It's
challenges
Jace.
and bravado kind of thing.
Jace was recording today. I heard him today. I'm a nice person apparently because I listened to to his podcast. Which because I've been drinking a bit, I've forgotten the name of it. No, Console Ninjas.
That's free advertisement, that is. What are you doing?
It's family. We can advertise to the family. It's the other fucking podcast we don't advertise.
Right, before we actually do thoughts and feelings for this year, I suppose better give a quick update on what the Year of Shame is. If you've not been listening at all, then where the fuck have you been? Go back, listen to our pilot episode, and we will detail all the challenge there, what we're doing this year. It's our 5th year, for fuck's sake. If you've not been listening, then, well. Basically, Year of Shame is us 4 fuckwits doing a year without buying games, except for a joker and a gift. That's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else to add on that, lads?
No.
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 Now I'm getting blank faces. I'm just waffling
That's
into
pretty much
dead
it, to be
space
honest.
here, aren't I?
Get together and talk about games we haven't played.
Yeah, that's
On paper, it sounds great, doesn't it?
How are you, Digi?
Mm-hmm.
How are you updating your spreadsheet?
I'm not. I'm just
at this
opening
time?
it because I know
opening it,
the
okay.
discussion will come around to my spreadsheet and my
around to
current
that.
tally. I'm sure that will come up because I know Jace has already been giving me shit about it. So, fuck Jace. That's all I can say.
Another thing before we start, we did our first recording well before Christmas. It was before any gifts or anything. Did anybody get anything gaming-wise for Christmas? I'll start with you, Trev, just because you're the closest to me on the screen.
Of course I didn't. Oh, did I buy anything? Yeah, I did a bit of a mad rush, but I didn't get any gifts. No, because my wife doesn't buy me anything for my gaming hobby because she already considers herself a PS widow as it is.
You just let her carry
I
on.
tell you what, that's the only reason why I
Sounds
fucking
all
downloaded Netflix on it, so I could move it into the fucking living room and say, "Oh, do you want to watch Netflix? Oh yeah, let's watch something. Oh yeah, you bored of that? Oh yeah, look, Fallout 4. Just sit there and go on your laptop and talk to people on Facebook while I sit here and listen to you, or pretend to listen to you. We're both almost 50 this year. She knows I don't listen to her.
What about yourself, Derek? Did you get any? I'm pretty sure you got some.
I
credit
did.
For Christmas.
I did
I'm
indeed.
not trying to put you on the spot. It's just openness sake, people are going to be wondering why we've got more.
I knew this was a possibility. I did think that was going to be the case. So I did get £60 worth of vouchers for PSN. So my intent with that credit is not to purchase games with it, it's to purchase DLC, should I wish to go ahead with that.
Yeah.
Are you going to use it for doing your next year's PSN subscription?
No, I've got like 3 years of PSN
cool.
subscription. I buy it when it's cheap.
Oh, yeah,
so I tend to top it up for years in advance. So yeah, I'm just going to leave it sitting idle. But should I spend any of it, then obviously I'll come on here and I'll announce what I've used it for and justify. But my impression or my personal choice will be it will not be used to buy new games. That's
as long as you're not using it for sexual favours in Glasgow. Do the girls take
PSN credit? Fucking hell, I'd be lucky.
It's Glasgow. They'll take heroin and fries Mars bars. PSN credit must be on the list somewhere.
They're all on Xbox Live over there.
Well, there's no accounting for taste then.
Don't forget the bookie though, Trev.
What about you, Linton?
Bookie, weren't they?
Especially north of the border, mate. That's why they had to build a wall.
So I've received a few games for Christmas, and £40 of game credit. But the game credit will either be spent on my Joker or PS Plus subscription or Xbox.
Did you say poker?
My Joker, you fool.
No, Joker. I thought you said poker.
Yeah, or Xbox Live. Whichever one comes first, I'll spend it on that. Although the new the green camo PS4 controller's just come out, hasn't it? That's tempting, and it's hardware, so I could purchase if I wanted to. I've got a nice collection. I've got a nice collection of PS controllers.
Yeah, hardware doesn't count. You collect controllers.
Yeah, I've got 12. Yeah, 12. All boxed up in the cellar.
Was it? Do you have an octopus that comes round every so often to play with you then? Yeah, mate, I've got 8 controllers for you. Let's have a game.
Myself, I got Dark Souls 3, Titanfall 2 off the missus. Stupidly, with my massive amount of credit anyway, I had 90 odd quid before Christmas. My missus told the in-laws that I was doing this challenge, and they got us another 40 quid's worth of credit. So I'm now sitting at 130.
Well, isn't that so convenient all of a sudden?
No, yeah, I'll explain something in thoughts and feelings in a minute. It's not going to be used.
It's January, mate. You're saying that now.
So, on to our first section. Thoughts and feelings. I know we're only, 19 days into the challenge, not hit home yet.
Yeah, 19 days, officially.
Who would like to do their thoughts and feelings first? I can get the random number generator out and choose for you, or volunteers. Who would like to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. Thoughts and feelings, first 19 days? Yeah, I've not had a problem. Funnily enough. With 500 fucking games on my list, I don't think I'm going to run into many problems just quite yet in 19 days. I have to admit.
I have noticed because I've got the Dropbox account linked to my PC, and when I'm usually playing, I have the PC on. Some nights it's every couple of minutes I see your spreadsheet being updated.
Yep.
So I know you're being pretty active on
that. I've been focusing on certain things, so it's like I had a lot of rank 2s, which are your Matthew Moores, your 20 minutes or less, and I don't like having games that are 20 minutes or less. So I made a commitment to myself to work my way through them. So I had 13 of those. I'm now down to 2. So I've worked through all of my rank 2s and either completed them completely or binned them for justifiable reasons. Now, those justifiable reasons summed up are: this game is absolute wank. This game is depression fodder. Let's see, I suck at this game. That's another genuine reason I gave for it. So I'm being more brutal with my gaming list than I typically would be if I was just playing through it normally. But I have knocked off quite a few. One of the other things that I did after the final recording for the last year of Shame, where they gave us reaming again.
we'll leave that. We'll leave that for now. I'll bring it up in a wee bit because I'm in a similar situation to you.
So,
I think it was kind of directed at us too.
I think so. I think so.
For reasons I will go into in a minute, that I've changed part of my challenge. I've not discussed it with you, but it is more in line with the Year of Shame. But Linton, your thoughts and feelings for the first couple of weeks. That is you.
That's me. Yeah.
Well, you are.
He did 50 fucking games. Of course, he's finished. I'm not going to finish 50 games in the whole year.
He's doing it out of order. Pile. I didn't think we're doing pile progress.
No, not quite.
Linton.
Thoughts are I've not really.
Any thoughts and feelings?
Not really made a massive hole in my pile, so I've got plenty backed up still to play. So yeah, we're only 19 days in. It's 19 days in, and I think it's been pretty easy so far. But it's quite easy to say that, isn't it? At the moment. Don't want to show any overconfidence or anything.
Less than 3 weeks. Yeah.
It's early days, isn't it? At the end of the day.
Trevor, Rivaldo, how are you finding it?
I know how this works. I've done this before, so I know that January is fucking piss easy. I did post a picture. I've been playing Dishonored, and because of my completionist, all I've been doing is Dishonored. I have dipped into other things as well, but yeah, no problem. Come ask me again in May when I'm trying to inject heroin into myself just to keep myself going through the fucking day. But yeah, it's okay at the moment. But it's January. It's literally 19 fucking days in, guys.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'd be surprised if we were chomping at the bit already. I'd be worried for us if we were chomping at the bit already.
If you were depressed now, this is horrible. You're thinking, Jesus Christ, guy, you're going
to still 11 months to go.
I've already had people on the Facebook group asking me why I'm choosing PS Plus games and picking up free stuff left, right, and centre as if I'm chomping at the bit. But hey ho,
because it's
free. Ask you about that actually, Stephen.
It's free.
We'll
go on to that.
It's free games.
It's legit free games. It's legit free games. They're legit. Dude. It's not me doing a backdoor. It's in pile progress. You have to bring that up now. Myself, I always suffer from a bit of post-Christmas blues. I think it's been a bit worse this year just because of work's been so busy. So thankfully, the challenge has actually taken my mind off things. The only thing I've noticed, it's already affected me, the challenge, in that normally at this time of year, I'm browsing sales and stuff because it's cheap. And I've found myself going on to my normal sale websites, like in the gaming section in Amazon, seeing if there's cheap shit on game, all that kind of thing. Even walking into the supermarket on a Tuesday when I'm doing the weekly shop, I would go around as the gaming section, and I've actually had to force myself not to do it. It's just like Neil said on the last challenge, it's count to 10, not go in there and resist temptation. So I can already see the challenge is changing the way I think. But it's not difficult. It's just counting to 10 and stopping myself. So yes, at the moment I'm saying it's easy. I know that's not the bravado. It's just I know in a few months' time we're probably going to be saying something different.
Yeah.
It's less than 3 weeks in. What we're going to be saying is it's fucking difficult if we can't make 3 weeks. Why are we even volunteering?
I must say, I hadn't considered it until you'd actually just brought it up yourself, but I get emails from Ubisoft, Square Enix, all the developers, because obviously we've signed up. I'm sure you get them as well. And I get emails from the Game Collection, Simply Games, Game as it is. So they just get deleted. I don't even open those, but I was never really in the habit of opening them anyways, to be honest.
I'm new to this concept because I couldn't walk into a supermarket and buy games where I previously lived, and the shops, because of how the law works, were restricted on what they could sell. So basically I just smuggled half my shit in, which is why I have so much hard copy shit, and it'll come onto the PlayStation support rant fucking later, cocksucking. And I'll tell you what, cunts, I'm going to say it, this is the first cunt for them. PlayStation support, you're a bunch of cunts, and so is your legal department. Get your stories together. because it's laid down.
I think there's something myself, and did you need to address that you were touching on it a moment ago about a post you put on Facebook?
Indeed,
this
afternoon.
I did.
And that was just
Can you explain
one
more?
big finger up at last year's team for giving us shit over our discussion over Collector's Edition. Now, funnily enough, I posted a screenshot of my Square Enix store showing that I have now cancelled my pre-order for the Collector's Edition of Nier. Now, our discussion was obviously the Collector's Edition, or these limited edition releases, it's not about the game. We made this discussion, we said this point several times over. It's not about the game, it's about the items that come with the game. And that's what we collect. A lot of us are the same. There's a lot of people that are in the same boat as us. And what I found from the community is an outpouring of support. In fact, when I cancelled it, saying, why did you cancel
why
it?
did you do that?
It was justifiable and understandable from your point of view. I think the last year's team are making mountains out of molehills and trying to make out that we're trying to circumvent the system and get games by buying Collector's Edition, when that is in fact not the case. I'd be more than happy, Collector's Edition wise, to pick up my Collector's Edition, send the disc to Jace and let him film himself burning it, and I wouldn't give a shit. It's about the other parts, the limited edition parts of it. That's what the collector's purchase for me is. But I'm not having them turn around and say that we're not staying in the spirit of the challenge, so I cancelled it. So
I can understand that point of view.
Yeah, I did too. I'm not. I'm in a bit of two minds. The thing is, I'm not wishing to start up any animosity with the previous year's team. You know, we're all good.
No, I can do that.
Yeah, we've got you for that.
I can kind half see their point. It does look like a bit of a fudge on our part, but I think, I'm not going to go into.
I see it as clutching at
the
straws.
thing I've not discussed with you. The thing I've not told you guys is since our last recording, because of stuff that's been going on, I've kind of changed the way I want to do Year of Shame. You know how I was discussing about doing the Final Fantasy stuff, picking up the Final Fantasy's collector's editions, all that kind of stuff. I am not going to do that now. I signed up for the Year of Shame. It is. I should have thought about it beforehand. I'm not cutting my nose off to spite my own face here. It's just one of those things. So I am now going strict. One Joker, one gift. It means I will miss on a Final Fantasy of some kind this year. I will just have to pay exorbitant prices if I want that collector's edition on eBay. It's the thing I do. And all the credit I have, what is now, it's actually 150 quid because I did a couple of trade-ins and got 25 quid for that. All of that is being saved for the 1st of January 2018. So I will go on one massive splurge. So I am going very strict rule set here. One Joker, one gift. Okay, I'm going to miss out on stuff. The main reason being is I need to get through my pile of shame, and I want to save money. And I do not want us to be seen as another Amiibo gate, another potential winning friend, review copies, all that kind of stuff. I think that last year, I think we gave Spinky a bit of shit about the whole PSVR thing. It was meant in jest. It wasn't meant in any kind of anger. I would like to continue the spirit that they've done it in that we do it properly. So I can see your pain, Derek, about cancelling that pre-order.
He looks like fucking Rain Man at the moment on the fucking video. I've never seen somebody rock so much. I know.
Them's the breaks, mate. Them's the breaks. That's, like you say, it's part of the challenge. It's one of those things. I would like to have kept it, but at the end of the day, I made the decision: do I really need it? And
no.
can I justify it?
We just want the plastic crap out of it and the shinies and stuff, which would be nice on our shelves. But I'm now getting to the point where I don't have stuff to store all this shit. So
I must admit, because I used to have to import stuff and have to pay exorbitantly for customs duties, irrespective of what it was. I am a collector whore. So when Red Dead Redemption comes up, which I have pre-ordered, I probably will cancel that and upgrade it to the collector's edition. So if someone wants to call me a twat or cunt for it,
is that your joke?
Well, it's not my Joker because I pre-ordered it, and I suppose it will become my Joker because I'll have to cancel the pre-order to buy the
special edition,
the actual collector's edition.
I'm gutted.
It might depend what the collector's edition looks like.
Yeah, I'm gutted for you both because Nier and Final Fantasy, those are the kind of special editions that will be sparse afterwards. Those are the kind of ones that the scalpers pick up, aren't they? And then they put them straight on eBay, you know. So
yeah,
I fucking hate cunts like that.
I admire your resolve for doing so. I really do. But at the same time, I'm gutted for you that you're going to miss out on those special editions. Don't agree with the reasons you're doing it personally, but for the greater good, you know.
Exactly. Rise above it.
But that's one of my bugbears. Is come the revolution, those cunts that go and buy special editions and stick them on the next day at eBay for twice the price. Yeah. If I could find them, I would strip the skin off them because they rob real people who want it. And they play upon our addiction to wanting that special edition. They're like ticket touts.
You know, I'm quite heavily involved within the retro collection sort of community, and that the scalpers there's fucking hundreds of them, like, you know, and those are the guys that you're talking about there, Trev. I know a lot of them.
But you say it nicer in a better regional accent.
I mean, everyone knows the Mini NES. The Mini NES came out not long before Christmas. Bang, straight away. It was on eBay for £130, and you're picking them up for 50. And I know guys who had 50 of them in stock because they literally went to Argos. Every Argos they knew that they could possibly drive to, they went there as early as they possibly could and cleared their stock of it. 2 minutes later, they're on the Facebook groups, they're on eBay, £130 posted. But the problem is, people buy this stuff off them, and they're lining their pockets. Yeah. If people didn't buy it, they wouldn't do it at the end of the day, because there'd be no point in doing it. But people are fools, aren't they? They pay what they...
I think we can all happily say fuck scalpers.
Yeah, fuck the scalpers. Anyway, I've got a ticket for. I've got a ticket for.
Hey, I'll fuck scousers and scalpers. I'm not fussy.
Right, let's just draw a red line under that. We're doing the challenge this year. It's fine. We won't carry anymore. There's a couple of things I thought I would bring up for thoughts and feelings. Obviously, I've not watched it myself. I've heard the feedback on this. I don't think it really applies to many of us. The Nintendo Switch.
It's got Skyrim on it.
It is, or has it? But that's the thing. Was that just a glorified tech demo? We don't know. But anyway, I was never invested in the Switch myself. Trev won't be.
It's Nintendo, and I'm not 6.
I mean, I've got an opinion on it because yes, I would have normally picked that up. Normally, I would have picked that up, but given the challenge and the situation surrounding it, I would have to use up my Joker straight away just by buying the console itself to justify even buying the console. Yeah. So as far as I'm concerned, yes, there are games on that I want to play. Yes, I probably will pick it up, but I will probably wait till after. Even though hardware is excluded, I'll wait till after the challenge. Then that way I can actually buy it and buy, for example, Zelda, so I can play it. So yeah, I don't think I'm going to bite on that. I'll probably wait till next year and see where the lay of the land at that time.
And come that time, mate.
It's not like the PSVR that there's going to be tech demos for it or anything like that. The stuff that you can. There's not going to be much you'll be able to play. For free.
Nintendo are not big fans of free stuff. But...
I just couldn't see the point of it. I couldn't see what the marketing model was behind it. It's
I think they're going for a kind of Wii U 3DS combined upgrade. So it's just like they will be getting out of both markets and just having this. Not saying both markets, but they won't have two systems. It will now be one unified system, and then they've got the mobile development platforms.
Although
whatever.
they did say that they weren't dropping the 3DS just yet, so
they'll never do that. It's far too successful.
Yeah, exactly. That's a matter for a different day, I think. I think we're all kind of the same opinion that the Switch, although interesting to some of us, is not going to be worth sacrificing our Joker, etc. to get in day one.
If they carried on and they brought Skyrim and Fallout 4 with it, I'd have to say, guys, I'm off. Bye. There's nothing more irritating than sitting in an Irish pub playing a video game with a bunch of old farmers wondering what are you doing? Fuck off and leave me alone.
So it's a bullet dodged.
Yeah. I've got my feelings on the Switch. I've got.
It wouldn't be a day one purchase. You'd need to see what they're going to do for it. Because, as I say, I'm not a 6-year-old child, so Nintendo games don't really do anything for me. But the Skyrim, I'm not a 6-year-old child. Monster Hunter means fuck all to me. Though some Japanese games, as you'll see later on, do have certain appeal. But I just, it wasn't a big sell. But when they said Skyrim, I thought, oh wow, Jesus Christ. It'll be another platform I need to have because I need another copy of Skyrim to be on something else. If they put Skyrim out on iOS tomorrow, fuck the Office. I'll be sitting there, yeah, I've got a request for you. Fuck off. I've got to go to Markarth at the moment. I've got a fucking quest to do. What the fuck? Just put that in the in-train, send me an email and fuck off. I'm going to the toilet now. Trevor, you've been in the toilet for 16 hours now. Haven't I been home yet? Oh shit! Okay. Yeah, put the request in the chat.
Sorry, Linton, you were saying before you were so rudely interrupted.
I wasn't rudely interrupted. I'm sorry, I butted in. I'm sorry.
It's all right. I'll forgive you.
Rudely interrupted. I'd have said something rude to it.
I'll forgive you for now, Trev. I've got quite strong opinions on the Switch. I won't go into them. I was looking forward to the announcement, but yeah, it's a bullet dodged. In many ways, I wouldn't have gone ahead and purchased it straight away. But at least it gives us the opportunity now to let that piece of hardware develop a little bit before we can actually consider it. You might actually get a better deal in the January sales next year if you wanted to go and purchase it.
Yeah, exactly. You'll probably find out they'll release bundles by that point as well, which at the moment is soulless.
Because it doesn't look like Mario's coming out straight away, does it? Mario Odyssey.
Yeah.
And if that's like sort of earmarked for a Christmas release, those bundles just after Christmas, you might see them come at a more affordable price.
Exactly. I've listened to a few other podcasts that have said if you look at its launch price, it's something like 3rd or 6th to how prices are, and I'm thinking you are clearly missing the fucking point. It's coming out now when you've got the Xbox One and PS4 undercutting it in the market. You can't launch a new platform in a saturated market. This is the sales coming out on me. This is just how it works. It's a saturated market. You're launching a platform that has fuck all on it at more expensive price than platforms that already have stuff. That is a very bad marketing strategy. They should have chucked it out as a loss leader for the first year, which all platforms are chucked out as loss leaders. That's why you see the Slims come out, because then you have to reduce your internal hardware costs. So Nintendo, I hope it does work for them, because I know there are some 6-year-old kids out there that happen to be in their 30s and 40s. I hope it does work for you. But because that should have been launched as a loss leader, that should have come out at the price that you could go and buy a PS4 or an Xbox One. Because if I'm buying little Johnny something this for his birthday, and I walk in and there's this PS4, Xbox One with a whole load of shit I can do on it, Netflix, all the other crap, and then there's this shitty little box that has one game on it that doesn't really do anything when I can give him something else. that is not a really good marketing strategy. Sorry, Nintendo. I appreciate you won't be listening to the ramblings of a drunken old man in Ireland, but it was a very bad marketing strategy as far as I was concerned. Price point is everything in this business.
I think
the
they're
price
banking
point for
on
it is too high.
I think they're banking a lot on that hybrid ethic. But it doesn't appeal to us, but it might appeal to the Japanese market where Nintendo is the most successful in. So,
and mobile gaming is the platform in the Asian markets, to be honest. So having a home console that's portable is a big sell. That's something that could, sell well in the Asian markets. So I can see where you're coming from, Trev. Yeah, the price point.
You're right. You're right. I could be proved wrong, but I might like to add that I was the guy who said just reboot it earlier, and was right to say that.
They've just given up on the West.
Yeah. Like we've given up on Nintendo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's draw a line under Nintendo.
Yeah, we'll draw a line and we'll move on.
No, hold on a second. It'll be interesting to see what Sony does in response. Because obviously
Sony... Fuck all.
You're right. Sony fucked up on the PS Vita. Well, they fucked up on the PS Vita because they didn't actually market it properly. And I'm just wondering... I'll shut up now. I'll just have another drink.
Yes.
Dear listeners, this will be an interesting point into the how sales and marketing works, but don't worry about it. I'll let the geeks keep talking.
That'll be a really, really boring, long podcast. Nobody will listen to Trevor.
I have a presentation here. It has 120 slides to say how you can increase your... Yeah. Don't worry, I don't do 120 slides. You're lucky you get 20 out of fucking me. I don't even do a company overview, to be honest with
you. There was something else. I don't know how relevant this is to us. It was quite a big... It was pushed by Microsoft a fair bit last year. Cancellation of Scalebound. I was never interested.
Yeah, this is a big thing for me. Scalebound was high up on my list of wanted games. It kept getting pushed back. So I knew 2017 was kind of the go-to launch that it was going to be going for, and that's what we were aiming for. So it was on my shortlist for my Joker. To be brutally honest, it looked absolutely amazing. It was a good developer that was behind it. They poured a lot of money. They poured a lot of money into it. So I was quite surprised when they turned around and basically cancelled production. I can understand why, from what the reports that have been coming out and from the feedback that's been coming from the developers and from Microsoft themselves about the internal breakdowns that have been happening, the problems that they've encountered. I can understand them doing it. I'm disappointed, but yeah, it's a bit of a shitter that game got canned. I think it had a lot of prospects, and it looked like a game that could be quite viable and quite unique on a basically, let's be brutally honest, on Microsoft platform, which is kind of stale at the moment for its new IPs.
Imagine that, Sony buying the IP now and then releasing it and it being a massive hit.
I would love to see it happen, but I really don't see it.
I got to say, it was not on my radar in the slightest until I saw it was cancelled, and I was like, that looks fucking awesome.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
It's a co-op. It was the co-op aspect of it that I really was looking forward to. Large open world co-op, action combat with dragons. I mean, how can you say no to that?
Yeah.
Well, clearly Microsoft did.
Yeah.
So,
we'll fill them. But okay.
Right. I think I need to hand over to certain smoking gentleman in the corner there.
What the fuck am I supposed to be doing
Trevor.
now? Oh, I know.
What have we missed? What have we missed this month? Or what are we going to miss? It's your part of the show.
Well, I inherited this part of the show very quickly, so I'll apologise to the listeners. I'd have prepared it slightly better, and I will do in the future. But what I'll do is, if you guys are interested in the game, we'll talk about it. If not, we'll hop over it this time. But next month, I'll do something else. So, Milkmaids of the Milky Way. I tell you what, it looks like. It looks like Monkey Island. It's clearly an old point and click shit, which would probably appeal to
right up my street.
Yeah, I must admit, when Day of the Tentacle came on PSN Plus for free, I interrupted my Dishonored just to play Day of the Tentacle.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there thinking, what the fuck are you doing? Didn't you play this game back in the 80s or 90s or something? Yeah.
1993, dude.
Yeah. So did you? Any other comments? Just up your street.
Totally. I'm just looking just now because I'd not heard of it. I'm actually looking at
I love the title.
Is it not? It's so Monkey
very
Island.
Old school 8/16-bit styled point and click adventure game. It looks fucking cool. But it sounds dodgy as fuck.
Sounds
you
so
know what?
dodgy.
Who cares? That it looks awesome.
Come on, I'd have bought it just based on the fucking title. Milkmaids of the Milky Way. Yeah, there's got to be something weird about this game.
Yeah.
Okay, so actually, it's already out because when we're recording it came out on the 5th of January.
Oh, no, that's interesting. We've got an out. I can play this.
Why?
Oh, it's a
No,
review copy.
get Milkmaid for iPad and iPhone. It's downloadable as an app.
Oh wow!
So if I was going for
There you go,
going for the
It's-
Jay Stokes school,
The Jay Stokes, let's
getting
cheat the
around
fuck
this
out of
fucking
it.
competition and this challenge, I could quite easily buy it. But I think I'll just hang off and I'll pick it up maybe. I'll see how I feel in the new year.
It's
and maybe
it's
pick
gonna
that
be
up.
a
But
PS Plus
definitely
title.
This is the
one
new
I'll
year,
definitely
man.
do.
What the fuck are you talking about?
The next new year. Yeah.
Next New
Oh,
Year.
okay. Fucking hell. If I'm still alive then.
2017's already
Yeah,
started.
so the next one on this for
Sold,
PC, for PC Max and Linux is Hoppico. I know literally fuck all about this.
No,
Never heard of it.
Shit, bounce it. Lady Killers in the Blind. What I love about PC games is it's just the naming conventions. So another PC game. I literally don't know anything about this.
No, nothing. No.
Hatsumi.
Move on.
Hatsumi Miku Project Diva Future Tone PS4. It's Japanese.
Oh, that's
It's-
a rhythm action game.
yeah. So we can fuck that. It's a rhythm action game. If anyone says they're interested in it, I'm fucking dropping the mic now.
I've got the demo because it's got VR. That's the only reason I've got the demo.
It's got VR
And I've not
in
even
it.
tried it. It's got VR part of it.
There's
yeah,
a free
yeah.
VR demo. Yeah.
I've not
Whoa,
tried it. That's
you
the
can
only
see
reason
her
I
in
know.
all 3 dimensions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's a free PSVR demo.
The next one on the list is Criminal. Oh, fucking hell. I can't even believe I actually have this game. Criminal Girls Invite Only on PC. Now, I have this on the Vita. It's a bunch of girls in the penitentiary. It's just Japanese perv porn.
Pretty much.
On the Vita.
Is this not the one where it's an RPG where you improve their skills by punishing them? Am I right in saying that?
Yes, if you, I am aware of the concept of the game. On the Vita, it didn't work very well, but you can obviously with the touchscreen. It is possible to touch them. Maybe.
How many Vitas did you go through?
Actually, I forgot. That's one thing I have bought this month. I had to buy a new battery from a Vita because it was fucked, and I couldn't get on because I wanted to. One of the games I wanted to get is get rid of Persona 4, but Criminal Girls Invite. The save doesn't work on it, so you have to keep going through it. And
I'm sure you're devastated at that.
That is the worst excuse to replay a game I have ever heard in my life.
Well, you can't save the game. Fuck it! I'll tell you what. Wait till I have to go and put that shite on fucking Duke Nukem Forever, where there's only one fucking save. You'll hear me rant then. Obviously, no one's interested in that game. We'll just move along.
No.
Pit People, Xbox One, PC. As again, don't know fuck all about that.
I've heard some rumblings about it. I've heard it's quite good, and I heard it's on the preview program with.
It's an easy access game.
Yeah, easy access,
Wait,
early access.
What is it? Well, I don't even know what that
Easy
means because I don't have an Xbox One.
It basically just means you've got an extended demo. So if you pick it up, you can play an extended demo of the game itself. So, bit too much temptation for my liking, so I'm going to avoid it.
Okay, Rise and Shine. No idea.
No.
Fatal Exterior Umbra Star. I think this is a Japanese game.
I would never have guessed.
Yeah, not heard of it.
Yeah, it's a Japanese game.
Where have you got
the
this list
screenshots. Yeah, well, it's I'd say it's a bit like Senra Kagura. It looks like some chick beating the shit out of stuff, which is okay if you like that sort of thing.
More work put into the breast physics than there actually is the gameplay. Then
you don't play those Japanese games for the gameplay or the physics. you play them for a whole different reason. I don't play Senra Kagura for the gameplay or the physics. I just like the fact that the life bar is based on how much clothing you can lose. Let's move on. Flame in the Flood on PS4. This wasn't on the list that I'd spotted before.
No.
Never heard of it. Don't understand what it is. Gravity Rush 2. Now I've played the previous Gravity Rush. I know it's a lot of the same. I think there are 3 different gravity settings now, so they make it sort of like that's how they do the easy levels. I think you get normal. I think one's the moon, where it's lighter, and one's Jupiter, where it makes things feel heavier, but your combat hits are heavier. So it's on the PS4. Not particularly bothered about it.
No, I didn't play the first one, so I've heard it's okay. Or some people have raved it's actually quite good, but it's not something I'm interested in.
I played it on the Vita. The next one is Dragon Quest. Oh, it's on the 3DS. None of us are 6. We'll move on from that. Urban Empire on the PC. Don't give a fuck. Don't know. Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8. 2.8? Final chapter.
Yeah. 2.8.
2.8.
Oh, yeah, 2.8. Yeah, sorry.
On the PS4, all I can say is it's got Disney characters in it. You can stick that one up where it doesn't shine.
Kingdom Hearts is a fucking brilliant game. I'll say that now.
It's got Mickey Mouse in it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's fucking brilliant. Castles of Illusion had Mickey Mouse in it, and it's one of the classic games on the Mega Drive.
I'm not 6. I've grown out of Mickey Mouse. Motor Racing 4. Guess what? It's probably a driving game. I can't do driving games. I'm not very good at that. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard.
Linton.
Oh,
Linton.
You know what? Recently, I've been looking at trailers and stuff like that, and the more I look at it, the less of a Resident Evil game it is. And just because of my fanboyism of Resident Evil, if I had it pre-ordered, I'd have cancelled it now just to see how it plays out, sort of thing. It might be me. This might be me just trying to sugarcoat it a little bit because I can't purchase it, but I just got this feeling it's going to let people down. I've got a feeling that the campaign's going to last like 4 hours and people are going to be really pissed off with it. I don't know what it is, but yeah, it's probably just me being cynical.
I've never got on with the Resident Evil games, I must admit.
Well, you'll never get on with me then, will you?
Well, I think that's already fucking given.
It looks like a great game, but it's just not Resident Evil, and for a Resident Evil fan, it doesn't appeal to me anymore. But the game in itself does look really good. But I feel like it's going to be tailored too much to the VR. If you know what I mean.
That's it. I was going to say it looks like it's got more in common with like Gun Survivor than it does with the third person action games.
Yeah.
Or well. They are third-person action games now since 4. They were third-person horror games. They were shitty tank controls from 1 to 3. Don't get me wrong.
That was the beauty. That was the beauty of Resident Evil.
I totally agree with you. I'm not disputing it, but they were shitty tank controls.
Yeah, they were great. They were revolutionary, amazing tank controls at the time.
Yeah, I love Dino Crisis as well.
Yeah,
both. The Dino Crisis games, and it's the exact same control system.
Yeah.
It is really bad, really unintuitive, and it makes you sweat like nothing on earth. But that kind of added to its appeal. But I know what you mean when you say Resident Evil 7 doesn't seem quite like a Resident Evil game because they are trying something new, which I don't blame them for. They got a lot of grief for the last couple of games.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I don't mind them trying something new, but like you say, it kind of takes away that push to pick it up straight away because it's not quite the same as the previous games.
Totally.
Have you tried the demos on
Oh yes,
PSVR?
of course I have. They're fucking awesome.
I couldn't fucking play it. The kitchen demo, I had to take the headset off after this. Spoiler alert to anyone listening. After the very first bit where the guy gets in front of you, gets his thing, and the head gets thrown out in front of you, and then you hear that thing skittering around the cupboards. That headset came off straight away. I couldn't fucking deal with it.
Okay then. Yeah, the next. Oh yeah, I'll skip through them because otherwise we'll go. Tales of Berseria. It's a Japanese role-playing game. I think we yeah. So basically, it's sniffing young girls' pants. I think halfway through.
No, it's not Tales of Vesperia, isn't it? It's nothing like that at all. It's more in the vein of
Legend of the Overfiend?
Traditional JRPGs.
I think.
No, fuck off.
I think they've actually
tentacle sex. There's none
they've
of that.
They've actually improved the. For this game, I think they've improved the control system and the camera angles. They have actually done something better with.
I'm waiting for the joke. I'm waiting for the joke here.
No, because I did actually have a look at this game because for a reason it did tickle my fancy in a slightly different way. Maybe it was just the cover art.
Okay, well, the Tales of games. There's nothing perfect about those. They're more in the vicinity of like Fire Emblems and your Personas or your Final Fantasies sort of games.
Okay, then. Okay. I'll jump through the list and I'll prepare it better for this. So Yakuza 0 is the next one. PS4. I've played Yakuza games before. Not interested in buying it. It's just Japanese Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah. I mean, it's really good game series, but it's not one that grabs me. So I'm not really that disappointed if I miss out on it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, okay, let me just skip down the list because Constructor HDs. But there is one that I will say that I found out by accident because your fuckers gave me this to do. And it's called Warhammer 40k Sanctus Reach by Slytherin PC. It's a turn-based combat game literally based on the game top. I mean, I've heard of Warhammer. I'm not obsessed with it in any way, shape or form.
Not in the slightest, Steve.
But it is based on the tabletop Stormclaw. So there is Ragnar Blackmane's in it. That's nice. It sounds like and it comes out today. I don't know why I know that. I've literally looked on Steam every hour just to see what the out price was. It's not my Joker. I'm not buying it. 20 missions plus skirmishes for, I think it's the Stormclaw mission. And the Hour of the Wolf has 25 missions plus skirmishes. And it's online multiplayer, but I do think, I'm not quite certain now because it's late and I have been drinking. I do think you have to pay some money to Slytherin because I think they host it. And that's what I'm going to fucking talk about. Sorry that I mentioned any Nintendo games in this or 3DS games because they're not games, they're just for children. So that's it.
So, next part of the show, pile progress. I am going to use... Oh, where have I fucking put it? I'm going to use the random number generator this time. Choose one a year. What number's that? That's Trev. Trev's first. So, Trev.
Oh, dear.
Have you actually been playing anything other than Dishonored and Skyrim? And Day of the Tentacle?
Okay, then. Steal my fucking thunder, cocksucker. I did dip back into Fallout 4 and Skyrim. Fallout 4, I tried to finish the DLC for Nuka-Cola, but because I play it in survival mode, I gave up, and I still just don't get it. I don't want to help raiders. Skyrim is still amazingly fucking broken on the PS4. A couple of side missions don't finish, and I don't know if it's because how I play the game is I don't do the main story that I'm the head of the Phil's Guild. I get to do all the other stuff. Some mages, it just doesn't seem to work. Dabbled a bit in Doom. Dabbled a bit in Senua Kagura. It's a Japanese game. Their clothes come off. It doesn't matter.
I know. I've been watching a bit on YouTube of Senua and Kagura, and it's piqued my interest. Still disgusting.
I have it in a Japanese version as well that I imported, which I had it. I started off on the PS Vita with it. I do have a Japanese version, and I have. I can't think which one it is in English. I have on the PS4. But it's just hilarious, and it's just Japanese games. What can I say about them? And yeah, I sort of played Dishonored, but I will say so. In a way, I thought Dishonored was broken because there is it's a mission called Cracking the Slab, and no spoilers, but you can go back in time, and they actually do it right. That whatever decisions you make changes your future. So you end up in this dilapidated mansion, and it was in one of my many playthroughs to do it silent without killing anyone. Now, because the guy you meet, a guy called Aramis Stilton, the place is derelict. He's gone mental because he's seen some ritual. But because I stealthed him and just rendered him unconscious, and do what I always do, then spend the next 30 minutes piling bodies up in toilets and other places that no one can find them. I worked out, I think I posted a picture on Twitter. I piled about 25 bodies in a toilet so there's no one else can find them. Because that game gets really fucking hard if you do the not detected stealth kills. But the final bit is you have to get into the room to watch the ritual. Now, how you normally do it, if you've killed him, you can go in the past. You have to try and get this combination lock. But because I hadn't killed him, when I went back into the present, instead of being a dilapidated building, they're holding a fucking party. So when I get to the door, it's just blocked. So I just break the door open, walk in, job done. Mission finishes. When I try to get out, the door is locked because I hadn't used the combination to get in. So if you haven't saved the game, you are now fucked. You are locked in that room. End of story. There is no way out of the room. And it's also, the other thing is, sometimes I will watch other people do gameplays to get the trophies. Some of these guys just make a fucking meal of it. There's one where you can kill 6 guys in 1.5 seconds. I've seen guys play it and I thought, really? Why don't you just render them all unconscious, take 6 guys, stick them in a room and drop a grenade in it? Bosh! Job's fucking done. No, I've seen guys do these elaborate things where they've laid mines down and chuck the thing. Dude, you spent about 50 minutes trying to work that out. Not that I haven't just piled 6 bodies into a small room for the last 50 minutes, but this is the easier way. But that's it. And my PlayStation rant, I'll leave for later. But basically, Dishonored. I thought I'd try and platinum it before this, but then Day of the Tentacle came out and I had to go play Day of the Tentacle. It's amazing. Do you know what? It's amazing how you can remember a game from the 90s. Because as soon as I started playing it, I went, that's easy. I know how to do that. It took I just ran through it nearly. I haven't completed it because I got distracted. But I played it for 30 minutes. I probably got further in 30 minutes than I did in a week when I played it back in the 90s. I went, I know what that does. Let's go do this. Click the button, check the chat. Remember when we go upstairs and he's trying to go, take the left-handed hammer because you want the arm to be the other way around so you can swing straight. I can remember all that.
All right.
Derek,
So,
how's your progress been going this month?
Well, after our last discussion and the introduction of the Class 6, I went back and readjusted my pile. So I looked at what games I classify as Class 6, which, our last discussion was these are games that will never actually come off our pile. There's games that we constantly play.
What we need is, according to Jace, we need more granularity in here. We need more classes.
We'll work our way into that. So I've got a list of 9 games that have come off my list because they are effectively now Class 6 games. Ones that I will always pick up and play. And that's things like Fallout, Grand Theft Auto, Rocket League, The Division, Destiny, Diablo 3, Elder Scrolls Online. That's kind of my core games that I will go back to time in, time out. But apart from that, I've been trying to work my way through some of the Matthew Moores, the 20 minutes or less games. And I've managed to knock out quite a few of those. A lot of those are the freebies that you get with PS Plus, which I've been kind of hoarding.
Yeah.
So I've been working through a lot of those, and I've managed to knock off a total of 41 games from my list.
What the fuck?
Um,
Seriously, how do?
Obviously I had 3 weeks off over Christmas. I then had a week off with gastric flu. So when you kind of have that amount of time, you tend to, use it.
Is that what you told your boss you had? Sorry, I can't come into work for the next 3 weeks. I've got gastric flu and I've got this challenge to do. No, gastric flu, not challenge to do.
Yeah.
Gastric flu. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah, I mean, we had this discussion about what classifies as a class 5. And obviously, it's when you believe you're finished with it, or when you believe that it's not a game that you will actually play through to completion. Now, as I said earlier, I've got 41 games that I've now got as class 5. Of those, 12 of them are games that I will never, ever, ever touch, and I will never recommend to anybody, because they're just shit.
You gave them 20 minutes, half an hour.
I would say I gave at least every single one of those games I tried an hour at least. Right. Some of the worst offenders, for example, Star Trek Online. My God, what a boring fucking game that game is. How fucking boring that is.
Trev's
No.
I'm
Because
totally right.
I actually bought that game for the PC, and it went free to play after I purchased it because I thought it was good, and I actually downloaded it on the PS4.
Yeah.
And then I thought, you've played this before. Why did you not stop playing it? Oh, I remember now. It is fucking shit.
Thank you.
I'm even I'm stuck on the first mission because there's no waypoint to tell you where to go to the next thing. You're thinking, well, where the fuck am I going? Oh, I can't. Oh, yeah. That game is
not
fucking
fun.
horrendous.
It's not fun at all. There's several games that I've marked off here. That Color Guardians, which I believe was a freebie that we got a couple of months ago for PlayStation Plus. It's basically a lane runner. So it's literally changing lanes, spinning your character. It's shit. Absolute shit. I'm never going to play a game like that. It's not my kind of game. It just doesn't grab me. Battle Islands, which is pay-to-win mobile game rubbish on the PS4. What a crock of shit. And Actual Sunlight. Now, this actually takes the biscuit as being probably the worst narrated, worst written, and the game that made me want to slash my own wrists the most. It's called Actual Sunlight on the PS Vita. I don't know where this came from. It just suddenly appeared. I think it's viral. I don't think anyone actually buys it. I think it just infects your Vita. And I played about 45 minutes to an hour of that game. And it was literally the most depressing, monosyllabic, illiterate shit I've ever seen on a game. It's not even vaporware. I wouldn't even call it vaporware. I would call it fucking shitware, spamware.
I did sort of promise myself that I would never call a game shit because at the end of the day, someone actually invested their time to develop this. No, I work in software and I understand that I have delivered some shit in my past. But I must admit, I agree with you. I've looked at some games and I thought, what the fuck have you been thinking? Did you actually see this? Did some fucker test this pile of shite before you actually released it? Did someone from marketing say, can you just give me an inane game that we can chuck out tomorrow? Yeah. I'll give you a lunch break to do it in. Don't have to test it. See if it works. If you like it, or maybe the cleaner likes it, we'll release it. We'll give it away for free and we'll put in-app purchases. Gullible idiots will buy it. And some kids probably do buy it. I mean, there'll probably be some people going, I don't know what he's talking about. I think that's a great game. Well, he's from Glasgow. He doesn't understand, darling. It's a great game. I'm playing it for the next 12 hours.
Yeah.
You're wrong. Some of those games are horseshit.
Yeah, so I did work my way through a lot of these freebie games to try and get rid of some of the games. And as I say, I knocked quite a few off. That said,
knocked a few off. Whoa, bing bong. First sexual thing.
I play a lot of these games through to completion. So, for example, Broforce. That was a class 2. I played that right the way through, completed the entire game, including beating the Devil Final Form.
It's a tough game as well.
It's a great game, a lot of fun, but I was quite happy to play it just through and no more, and just complete it. Same with Contrast. Shit. Contrast I've picked up and tried 3 times now. It was literally a launch.
It was a launch title, wasn't it?
PS Plus game that came out with launch. And I played through to like chapter 3 twice and never finished it. So I made it my goal to actually just get on there and just finish that damn game and get it off my pile. Cause,
you don't like Contrast?
Yeah,
I thought the art style of Contrast was lovely.
I love it. I think it's an absolutely amazingly designed game from a design perspective, from an artistic perspective. It's a really nice game. It just didn't grip me. So I made myself sit down and actually spend the 5 or 6 hours it took to play through from start to finish, and I did. So yeah, I've managed to take a big chunk out of my list. But what I've been focusing on is trying to get at least 2 or 3 like AAA titles done. So I finished off Dead Rising 4. I probably put about 45, 50 hours into that. I played through all of the Transformers game that we got free with PlayStation Plus. Yeah, really good actually. It's Platinum Games. And it's actually a really, really good game. Really well done. It's it evokes the old Transformer cartoon quite a lot. So it's a lot more that style rather than the crappy movies that came out. So exactly, yeah. So it's really, really good. I thoroughly enjoyed every moment I played of that. But again, I'm happy to play it, and that's me. I've finished the main campaign, and I'm happy to put it to one side. Before I would normally try and do a Trev, platinum the fucker, but I'm trying to move away from that perspective. Trying to move away from that completionist. Trying to move away from that giving everything a fair crack of the whip, even if it is shit. Because I've got too many games. I need to whittle some of the dead wood away.
Be brutal.
Exactly.
Be brutal. No, it sounds like you're doing a damn good job of it so far. And the only thing I can think of is it's going to get harder for you as you go on. You're whittling away the shit now, but you're going to start getting to games that you want to play.
Exactly.
And will invest time
and that's why people say, oh well, look, you've already knocked 50 games off your list, and your aim was to hit 125. That means I've still got 75 to hit, and I've whittled away a lot of the deadwood already. So I'm going to be hard pushed to do it.
Yeah.
I think it's still going to be a challenge for me. So I don't see that being a problem. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually after we finish recording here, I'm going to put out a post on the site on Facebook, and I would like the guys in the community to suggest my next AAA that I'm going to attempt. Now, none of these, I've not completed any of these in the current format. I've not started any of these in the current format, so they're all class 1s, and I want to have it class 5 by the time we come on to the next call. So the 3 games that are up for contention are Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition. Never touched it. It appeals to me, but I've never got around to actually playing it. Mad Max, which I know you've been playing through, Steve-O. And then finally, Sunset Overdrive. So I'm going for 3 open world, third-person action games, and I'm going to put it out to the community to decide which one I'm going to take on.
Personally, out of those 3, it's got to be Sleeping Dogs for me.
I've played all 3 of those, and from my point of view, the only one worth finishing is Sleeping Dogs.
Actually, Sleeping Dogs is a class 2 for me. If they vote for Sleeping Dogs, I'll do it with you.
It's a very good game, and the soundtrack.
Yes, there you go.
Well, let's put it to the community.
Is pretty fucking good as well.
Yeah.
But that is my problem. My problem if the game is made by Bethesda and I log in and look at the trophies and it's not 100%, that drives me fucking insane. And I just can't get that out of my head. I will literally think of that at work. Oh well, you know what?
You've been playing Doom, dude. That's a Bethesda game.
I don't count Doom because that's got online play. So if it's an online playing game, right, I will never 100% it with it. Because as you know, I don't like talking to people online. And when I go online, they just send me...
So what the fuck are you doing here then?
Can you remember the last online game when you kept fucking just... Instead of telling me what to do, you just texted me...
He's bringing
because
this.
It doesn't fucking go out.
It's like a broken fucking record every time.
Right, okay. Well, I'll put it out to the community because I've got those three. I know all three are good games. They've just never had. I've never had the time to actually get into them. So he's shaking his head, and I know what he's shaking his head because he believes Mad Max is not a good game. But I disagree with him because I completed it on Xbox. I completed it on the Xbox and I reviewed it. So and I stand by the 7 out of 10 that I gave it back then.
Okay, so Derek, here's my question now. You've played it on Xbox, you completed it.
Yes.
Why is it on your pile?
Because I've got it on PS4 as well.
Why is it on your pile?
Well, I thought
I want to complete it on a PS4.
I thought we were doing complete.
Okay.
You said in the pilot episode, complete it on one format.
Yeah, I know,
Complete it on all.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. It's one of those games. But okay, let me put it this way, right? I completed the single player campaign on the Xbox with a review copy that I didn't get to keep. Right? Now I had already bought it on the PS4, so I have a copy sitting there that has not been cracked, has not been played. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm willing to give Mad Max the time because I did play through the campaign and I enjoyed it. And I didn't get to do the whole remit of the open world stuff, the upgrading of the car, the upgrading the abilities. I didn't get to do all of that because I was reviewing it. I had to push through and rush through and get it out, in a timescale. So I'm still willing to keep that on my list and actually play through it.
Okay, explain that. Explained in that way. I'm on board with you. I can get it. Yeah,
it's a type.
It's an open world game. There's a lot of stuff to do there.
Yeah,
you have to just power through
point A to point B to review it. So I didn't get to enjoy as much of the content as I could have. So I still think that there is content to enjoy in that game. And that's what I'd be looking to do, is actually class 5 it, complete it to a degree I'm happy with.
So is that how your review copies work then? You get it,
Not
you have
always.
to give it back?
There are some that do that, yeah. There are some that insist on you giving the copy back. Nintendo are really bad for that. They give you a loan, effectively. Almost everything I reviewed for Nintendo on the Wii U and the Wii was returned to them because they insisted it be returned to them.
No way. I had no idea.
Lost in the
I thought
post.
you just got the free shit and you get to keep it.
Nah,
that's where all the promo copies come from on eBay.
A lot of them do, and a lot of them are like that. But there are some that recall loan copies.
Huh.
Did Nintendo insist that you dressed up as a small schoolboy in a sailor's outfit when you reviewed it?
No,
and videoed it to him.
I left that for you to do, Trev.
So
that's me. I'm happy to hand over to
Derek?
yourself or Linton to let us know what you're doing.
Linton.
So my poll progress consists of one game. Reason being is that game is Final Fantasy 15. I haven't finished it yet.
Good man.
I'm on the final chapter. I won't go into any spoilers or anything like that.
Because I haven't played it yet, so let's not do that.
Yeah, no worries.
I'll spoil it.
Thanks for that.
My worst habit with open world games like this is I'll start them whilst I'm in between other games, and I'll go away from them for a couple of days, maybe a week or so, and completely lose where I am, forget how to play the game, forget the controls, forget what the characters are like, and then I never go back to it. So that's the reason that I've only played one game over the sort of Christmas period and up until now. Is because I wanted to change that and just think, right, okay, I know this is a big game. I'm going to put a lot of hours into it. I'm going to solely concentrate just on this.
Yeah, fair.
And fair. I've really enjoyed my time with Final Fantasy 15, but at the same time, I've sort of felt like it was a bit of a chore. It's a weird. I know a few people have shared this sort of concept with it. The characters, I've got no feelings towards the characters whatsoever, in the slightest. Maybe that's because I'm not very invested in Final Fantasy as a franchise. I don't know. What I enjoyed about the game is the combat, which I know a lot of people who Steve will probably disagree with me here because he's a Final Fantasy fan, but I really, really enjoyed the combat of the game. That was the main thing that kept bringing me back to it, and just the way it flows, you know. Mm-hmm. but there wasn't a lot else that really jumps out at me, if I'm completely honest. And I feel like the game just sort of doesn't really know what it's trying to be, if you know what I mean, without spoiling anything to do with it for Trevor's sake and anyone else who hasn't played it yet. It's really difficult because I've really enjoyed it, but at the same time I come away from it thinking I don't know why I enjoyed that, and it didn't really have much of a personality or the game just doesn't seem to know what it is, what it wants to be. Do you know what I mean? It's weird. I don't know if I know Derek and Steve, you've both played it, haven't you?
Yeah, I've played it a fucking shitload. I'd have to agree with you on pretty much all your points there. They've tried to make it so much more accessible to new players that it seems to have lost a little bit of its fan appeal, and it's trying to do too much, be too broad, rather than concentrate on being a decent, really good JRPG type game, which is clearly aimed at the Western market.
For somebody new coming into it, like not new, because I know what Final Fantasy is about, but I've never really played one to completion. For somebody who's relatively new to Final Fantasy coming into it, to spend the first, let's just call it 5 hours, making you feel like you're part of a emo boy band road trip and spending your time fucking fishing to find some food for a cat, it was really, 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 really difficult for me. Once you get past that, I knew that once I got past that, it was gonna progress. Once you get past that, I really enjoyed my time with the open world and that. I don't know if it's worth speaking about it with you, Steve, like after this, and so we can talk about chapter 8 and onwards. And now I've mentioned.
Do I take my headphones out?
I think I need to as well. I'm not that far.
Okay. I'm taking my headphones.
I'm not going to go into
wave when we can talk about it.
All we'll say is we're not going to spoil the story. It gets to a point, chapter 8 onwards, where there is a mechanic in the game where you can go back in time and revisit the open world. Chapter 8 onwards is very linear story-wise. It takes you out of the open world and you're on your story. You're on the trip back to reclaiming the throne. And at that point, you can't do any of the open world stuff if you're following the main quest. But there is a mechanic in there that will allow you to go back to the open world. And it's a kind of a time travel kind of thing going on. And it's when it hits that linearity in the storyline, it starts falling over even worse than the early parts of the game. I take it. What chapter are you on at the moment,
in
Linton?
The final, so in the lift in the building where you're on your own.
Or chapter 13.
In chapter 13, yeah. So I'm very, very close to
Chapter 13 is the worst part of the game, to be honest.
I almost put it down, mate.
It's a fucking toil. You get past that, and to be honest, I was disappointed with the ending, but now I'm past it and I'm going back doing the end game stuff. It's okay. You just, as with all Final Fantasy games, you do the ending, and the final boss isn't the final boss. There are hidden bosses, there are hidden things to do, and I'm on that part now, and that's where it's picked up again for me. I really enjoy the combat. I think it flows really well once you get in the groove. But I know people have complained that it's press X to press dodge, and I can understand why they're not enjoying the way the party mechanics are flowing, because there virtually isn't anything. Your party goes off and does what it wants. Would have liked to have seen a bit more party management in there, but once you start getting into the flow of it and you're taking on some of these higher level bosses, some things just feel right. I like the way you can change weapons on the fly, and it changes the whole way you're taking on a fight. The actual magic mechanics in it, and they're not as good as previous ones, but there are certain things in there that I quite like about the Xperia gaining or experience gaining potions, and you start mixing things up, and I really enjoy it. I really fucking enjoy it.
Yeah. The hunts I've spent, I've put 40 hours into the game, and a lot of that is doing the hunts.
Yeah.
Because just I loved the hunts, especially at night as well. But yeah, we're going into territory that we don't need to go into at the moment. But really enjoyed those aspects of the game. But as I said before, it's just there's something missing there, but the problem is I don't know what. You know what I mean?
It's the story that's lacking for me. It doesn't get you emotionally invested as much because it relies too much of having watched Kingsglaive, of having watched Brotherhood, and there are big plot holes in there that clearly going to be the DLC when it comes out. And just see it's going to be it's because the DLC is centered around the 3 other party members. You can see what's going to happen because when you'll have got past Leviathan, so you see a certain part happens to a character member, when you party there, and you don't know why. You just all of a sudden something's happened. So that's going to be his DLC.
At the same time, though, mate, I really don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not going to buy any of that DLC if it's based around those characters, because those characters, for me, I do not care about
I got the
them
season pass anyway because I knew I was going to play him.
Have you?
So we'll leave it now before we start spoiling it for Derek and Trevor. Derek's just sat back going,
that's okay, but I appreciate it's a Japanese game, so it's got fishing. Does it have schoolgirls with over-proportioned breasts who suddenly lose?
Yes, it does. Within the first 30 minutes, you've got that.
Oh, Cindy, yes.
But do they lose their clothes and end up in their underwear?
She's an inappropriately dressed mechanic.
Okay,
But she might as well
Senra Kagura.
She doesn't need to. Let's put it that way.
So have you done anything else other than Final Fantasy 15, Linton? About it?
No, because I wanted to finish Final Fantasy and I wanted to make it a Class 5. I haven't started anything else. I'm on the final chapter. Once I've finished that, that's that game done. Draw the line under it, and finitoed. And I'm gonna go on to a bit of a palate cleanser, I think, because I've hit a real big AAA game. I'm not sure what I'm going to go for next, but just something that's going to take me anything less than 8 hours to complete. Maybe The Order or something like that.
The Order's a good game. People complain about it like it's a good 4 to 6 hour game. And it's entertaining.
It's very quick, and I think there was supposed to be made a sequel, but I think they've cancelled that. Because you'll be disappointed with the ending because you'll suddenly think, no, this can't be it. But to anyone who's listening who picks up a big game, if you've got a Fallout 4 or a big open world game, I'd stick with it and complete it. Don't drop out of it and come back and think you can pick it up later.
No.
Because Linton's quite right. You forget the fuck what is... I mean, as I say, I went back to Fallout 4 to do the DLC, and I thought, what the fuck? What have I done and what haven't I done? And unless you're as anal as I, and you've got a notebook where you've written all this shit down, I'm not really that OCC. I do have a notebook where I write shit down. If you've got a big game like Fallout 4, Skyrim, if you either push through it, if it's not for you, then just ditch it. But for fuck's sake, don't just drop out of it and then start something else because you wanted it. You really need to complete those games and get them off your list.
Right.
No, I can't hear.
I will go on to my pile progress then.
Yes.
2 or 3 things off my list. I played a bit of the Division Survival with you. Did you? That was actually quite good fun. I fucking enjoyed going back to that. That's what the Division should have been, I think.
I totally agree.
More Diablo 3. I basically went through the Darkening of Tristram event and got down into a rabbit hole again, and now I've spec'd up my character to Nobody's Business and tackling Torment 13. So yeah, doing the old Diablo thing again. What else? Played a fair bit of Final Fantasy 15 myself as well, but I've parked that at a class 4 for now. I have completed the story. I've done 120 odd side missions. I've put over 90 hours into the game. Most of my characters are up to level 95 to 97. I've taken down Adamantus, which was it's a big fucking boss. That was an hour and a half fight. I've got 2 trophies left before I platinum it, and I've done one of the locked hidden dungeons. So I've still got all that to do. So I'm parking it for now until the season pass content comes out, and then I will get back on it again.
So is that for all the sorry to interrupt you there. Is that for all the weapons? Is it for the dungeons?
I've got a few of the higher level weapons. In the dungeons, you've got a locked door that's usually hidden down. Just before you get to the boss, there's usually a hidden alleyway or something, it's slightly off the main path, and it's a locked door that you cannot tackle until you've completed the game and completed all the other dungeons. And it unlocks another one.
Nice.
It's basically the dungeon plus there's an even bigger boss behind it. So I've done the first one of them and fucking nightmares, but I'll tackle the rest of them at some point. I've finished off Doom, taking that from I was about halfway through it. So I finished that off. Really good game. I'm parking that as a class 4 for now because I will go back to it. I know later on in the year I will be in a funk at some point, and that is a game I will go back to, and it's fucking enjoyable.
Yeah, that's why I haven't really bothered about really running through it, because it does exactly what it says on the tin. It's Doom. They haven't fucked it up. I can drop back in it and think, if I've got a bit of a funk, I'll go back to Doom. It's a great.
I'm not
game
even
to have
touching
in
the multiplayer. I'm just playing the single player stuff, and that's all I need. It's a fun game. It's fast. Pick it up. Go back to it. What else? I have Class 5 Day of the Tentacle. I've gone through it once. Not going to play it again. I've got 80% of the 80% of the trophies. It was good while it lasted. I don't feel as though I need to revisit it, so that's Class 5. Started Titanfall 2. At the moment, I parked it for something else. Gone back to No Man's Sky. But that I actually really enjoyed it. The Frontier expansion is actually put a bit more bulk into it, and
the reason I say Jesus is not because it's No Man's Sky. It's because it's No Man's Sky. It's fucking massive.
I know.
It's not one you're going
to... Mansky!
It was for me. Now it's got that there, and I've got my home base. It's a drop-in, drop-out game for me now. I'll go back and do a bit more farming, all that kind of thing. I've managed to...
Would that not then be a Class 6 rather than anything else?
No, because I've not completed I've not completed the Atlas quest that I'm on. So once I've done that, it'll probably move to a Class 6. So I just want to get to the end of the path of the Atlas thing, see what's there. Which is probably fuck all.
I must admit, I did drop into it, and then I realised, Trev, you need to clear stuff off your list. If you sit here and doing this, we'll be talking every month about No Man's Sky and how much zinc you've collected this month.
It's emerald. It's all about the emerald.
So emeralds. I mean, how you've sat there and worked out how to cut a big node of gold down most efficiently because you're that anal. So I thought, no, it is a game I will come back to it. I have seen the new characters turning up because of the sites, the settlements you can build. But it's going to be a Type 6 for me now. I've not done a great deal with it, but I'm not going back to that because I know that'll be a huge.
It still needs to evolve more, the game, but it's better than it was. To be honest, the few additions I've made, I enjoy it. Anyway, what else? I started Resident Evil 4. I'm on chapter 5 of that. Fucking really enjoying it. This is about the 5th time I've gone through it. I own it on 5 formats. The two controversial things here. I downloaded the Nier Automata demo. I don't like it. I was a big fan of Nier. I don't like the Nier Automata. There's just something about it. So based on that demo, it is now gone from one that I was tempted about day one to couldn't really care about possibly pick it up next year. It's just this just doesn't click.
I would argue that it gives you a snapshot in the demos, so it's not really indicative of what the storyline is going to be. So
there were certain things there.
I can see what you mean. I understand what you mean. I thought the gameplay and the combat was really well designed.
Yeah.
It's fluid, and it still holds appeal to me. But I'm going to hold off, as you know. But
I'm happy to hold off on it as well. The combat's fucking great, but it's hack and slash at the end of the day, isn't it now? What it looks like anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, I have Class 5, got rid of it, uninstalled it, traded it in Mad Max. It fucking bores me. It really did. I got it a year ago, and I made the mistake of, in my completionist thing, just going through the first couple of areas, trying to clear it all out. By the time I got to the last area, I was fucking bored. Seriously, doing the same old shit. It's unlike GTA. GTA has a bit more variety in there. There's only about 4 or 5 different repetitive tasks that you have to do in each area, and it's fucking dull. So I powered through to the end of the story, binned it. So that's Class 5. Actually got a decent price for it. I got 11 quid.
Well, I've got to ask you, how did you find the car combat in Mad Max?
It was. I must have enjoyed it when it first came out, but when I came back to it, it's fucking shit. Handling was bollock. Granted, you are driving in desert terrain, so it's meant to be slippy slidey. But I fucking hated it. The one thing that really did wind me up was fucking Chum Bucket. He does my head in every 5 seconds, going on about this mighty fucking twister that's coming on. It's just, he can seriously do one. I wish I could have thrown him out the vehicle. And spoiler alert, I'm glad he got done in at the end of the fucking game. The end boss was a fucking joke as well. Yeah. So yeah, that's gone. I got about a 78% total completion in the game. I do not want to see that game again. So fair play to you if you want to do it. And I know it was brought up at the beginning of the show. I picked up 5 more games, all free. And before anyone asks, they are genuinely all free. So I've also been playing Hearthstone, Elder Scrolls Legends, Magic Duels. So I downloaded the Diablo 3 Starter Edition on PC. And
what's Elder Scrolls Legends?
It's card
battler.
CCG.
It's a card battle.
Oh yeah, I do know what it is.
It's actually really good. Actually, I fucking enjoyed it. They're all free. They're all free to play. You can pay for card packs. I'm not doing that. And yet,
fuck. Do you know what? I do have Elder Scrolls Legends.
It's free to play.
Somewhere.
Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely worth it.
There's no such thing as free to play. I work in sales.
They're trying to get you to pay for it, but I'm just going
through
the first bit of it. It's okay. And yeah, I think Dougie is sending me his copy of Diablo 2, which he was basically.
That's right. Yeah,
he was basically going to throw them out.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
To me,
they're going to a loving home.
It's a retro game.
Have you never played Diablo 2?
No, I started on 3.
Really?
I probably won't play them.
I've played
I'm
Diablo
not generally
2.
a PC gamer. I never picked them up when they had their Play PS1 editions. I know some people are probably good.
I started out as a PC gamer, so I played Diablo 2.
Things like
Which
that.
Is why I picked up Diablo 3.
On a disc, they're not meant to be played. Yeah. They're meant to go in a collection.
I wanted to rescue them.
Sit there and look nice.
Yeah, I've got the original PlayStation 1 Diablo still sitting in a cupboard here. So yeah, still in the box.
I'm a hoarder. I never throw away or trade a game, ever. My wife, I've got 3 bookcases full of DVDs and games because I buy physical because I'm an old man.
So yeah, that basically does my list. I've done a couple of Class 5s. So I believe it's handing over to our social media manager now. You put a call out for some questions, maybe?
Did indeed.
Oh, yes.
I did indeed. I'll start off with Twitter because we had a huge response from Matthew Moore. And Matthew's question, this is the sole question from Twitter, by the way, if you didn't get the gist of it. Matthew Moore has asked us, what is the one title on your pile that scares you?
Ooh.
Derek?
I can answer that quickly.
I asked Derek.
No, I've got to think about that.
Duke Nukem Forever, because it's a shit game, and I've been trying to get this off my pile for 5 fucking years. And it took 7 years for them to develop this pile of shit. And I did it in the first year, I didn't do it. And fucking Steve has betted me that I wouldn't do it this year, so that's the one. Done.
I don't envy you, Trevor. I played that game and I gave it about an hour, and it was fucking awful. So yeah,
it's fucking shit. Single saves. If you produce a new game, give me an option, because with that game, if you pick the wrong weapon, it is fucking broken, and that's why I just went fuck this game.
The game's broken.
And I'll do it again, and I'll slam my dick in this fucking drawer.
Do you know what? I know my answer. It's a contentious one, but it is genuinely my answer, and it would be Elder Scrolls Online. Because
get off this podcast now. What are you talking about? Elder Scrolls Online.
So much of my time, it has the potential to detract from my ability to complete the challenge that I've set myself.
Yeah, that's why I've ignored your anyone want to play Elder Scrolls Online, because I think I've gone down a rabbit hole with that, because I have it on the PC as well, and I had to recreate. My 3 characters for the PS4.
Yeah.
They're all called. They all have they're all females, and it's always something Stella Artois. But I've gone down a rabbit hole, and I just got lost on that game. So I ignored you on those requests, because I knew that we'd be sitting talking to her at 5 o'clock in the morning when I'm really drunk, going, "Yeah, let's just go kill this elf."
Yeah. I must admit, I have put quite a lot of time into the PS4 version. I know we said we were going to all group together, and I made like 4 characters, and one of them has already hit level 20. So I
think you're lucky. Mine aren't that high.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get together one day and we'll do it, and then we can help me through it, because I got down a rabbit hole where I must have jumped to a site too early in the early game, and I'm just stuck there thinking, what the fuck? I've lost track of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And that goes back to the point. You can't leave a game like that unless you've kept notes about it, and I've lost the book about what the notes were.
Yeah, I jump on daily at the moment on that.
Going on what you've said, Derek, I would say that ESO is probably my most feared game at the moment as well. One, because I'm not an MMO player at all, so it's going to be a steep learning curve for me.
Yeah.
But I do want to get with the 3 of you onto a game, and the time that you've put into it looks like it's a real time sink sort of game in order to get the enjoyment that it warrants having from it. So for those same reasons. What about you, Steve?
Trev's not going to like this. Much like you two, the one I am most scared about is actually Skyrim. Because I know it's going to take up a shitload of time. That is it. And but what I'm more worried about is I don't want it. I know it's not, but I don't want it to be shit. I know it's got a lot of praise, but I didn't like Oblivion. Fucking hated Oblivion. Look at his face.
I echo that facial sentiment.
I really did not like Oblivion. I got to
Go fuck yourself.
Shimmering Isles. The Shimmering Isles really did my head in. That he's fucking banging his head off the wall. So I just don't want Skyrim to be shit.
I'll admit, on the PS4, they haven't fixed. I mean, again, maybe it's because I don't do the main story, but I've got at least 2 side missions on Skyrim that will not complete. One of them, I put it down to the fact that I have maxed out my levels in the sort of ancillary organisations like the Thieves Guild, the Companions, the Mages, the Dark Brotherhood. But there is no reason why that marker doesn't come up for collecting these shards. And I actually, because I've played that game so many often, I actually know where the fucking place is. But if I turn up to it, fuck all happens. I've even gone to do one of them. I've even killed the guards thinking, arrest me and stick me in the silver mine place. We should get there. And the fucking mission doesn't spell. I'm in the right place. I know how the game works, fuckstick. Just do it for me. I think Bethesda and PlayStation is always going to have issues. I thought that they sorted it out because it's based on a PC format, that they could just have fixed it, but it's still. But you know, you're just dead to me now that you think Skyrim is good.
Okay, are we done with Skyrim?
I think
yes,
so. Yeah.
Next question.
But that is a game. I would always say that.
Yes, it is a game.
This is. But if you're doing a Pile of Shame, a game like Skyrim and Fallout 4 are not games to pick.
Totally.
Because they are
time sinks.
Complete time sinks. They're games that you're going to sink 100 hours plus on. If you're anal like me and you're going to go for the platinum for it, it's like Dishonored. That game has to have at least 2 or 3 playthroughs if you're going to platinum it. So look at if you mean, you look at the plan. Those games are game sinks. They're not quick playthroughs. They're going to go on for hours. You've got man-months into that fucking game.
But that depends on how you approach it. Because I mean, it's like typically I would time sink a lot of these games, but I'm min-maxing a lot of it. I'm just going from A to B. With a lot of the smaller games I'm doing just now, so there's no reason people couldn't approach it in that same vein.
But it depends how you play that sort of games, isn't it?
You can't play a Bethesda Fallout 4 and people that no,
yes, you can.
No.
You think you can, but you can. Someone could easily pick that up, play the main campaign, finish the game, and go, "I finished Fallout 4," and you'd go, "You're a cunt." But it doesn't mean they're wrong.
You're a cunt. You haven't finished Fallout 4. Did you find the shack in the middle of nowhere with the ammo in the... No, you haven't finished Fallout 4. You are just get back to your Nintendo and play your 6-year-old games and leave
like Skyrim.
Adult games to adult players. Skyrim. Anyone who says, I've speedrun Skyrim, I've done it in 24 hours, they're a cunt. You can't do that.
Okay.
This broadcast brought to you by Bethesda.
Moving on.
Do we have any other questions there, Linton?
Yes, we had quite a few questions from the Facebook group. I'll start from the top. Jace Stokes.
Cunt.
I'm not sure I've heard that name before, but yeah. Out of the year 4 hosts, the previous year, 2016, which one would you snog, marry, block, or co-op with?
I do that first.
Crack
yes,
on.
you can.
Prepared. I've been thinking about this all day.
That's worrying.
I have reasons. But no, it is work. Right. I'll go. Do you want me to go through it in block, snog, marry order, or host order?
Whatever.
Block. Have to be AD. Just for his fucking Gerald rant. I'm sorry. You rant about Gerald. You're
I forgot about that.
He's a nice guy, but fuck off.
No, he's not. He's not a nice guy because he bidded me up for the Witcher 3 fucking picture at MLGX, even though he doesn't fucking like the game. Deliberately did it just to be a cunt. I even smacked my microphone then. Oops.
Co-op.
Yes.
It would have to be Neil,
right?
Because he can't be snog for me because of the whole beard Velcro thing going on. It'd just be a perma kiss there. He's penny to get jealous, and also he's got a voice like liquid gold. I'd love that pouring in my lug holes all the time. It'd be fucking awesome. So he's my co-op. Marry.
That's not all that would be pouring in your ear rolls.
Yeah. Marry. It'd have to be Matt because he's got a proven track record of getting dragged up. So yeah, that's fine. He can be the missus in the kitchen all the day. So by default, it's gonna have to be snog for Jace. Rather wouldn't have to,
God.
But he's just got it by default.
Okay.
There you go.
That sounds like Jace's love life all over.
Mind you, the thought of kissing a cunt. Actually, it's got appeal.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he's just gone up the level, yeah.
So, Derek?
I've not actually given any consideration to this question, to be honest. Block Jace, purely on his Titanfall 2 bullshit. It can be a good game on the PS4, Jace. You're just a cunt. I would say marry Eddie. Co-op.
He seems like essential.
Yeah, I think he would give me cuddles afterwards. Co-op Neil. Mr. Von Pleb, I co-op with him a lot, so it's an easy win there. Which would leave me with the Snog format. Now, as long as he wore the dress and shaved his legs, I'd be happy with that.
Look at Trev's face. He's just like in disgust. Really?
Well, no, because I know I have to answer these questions thinking,
yeah,
what the fuck are you asking me?
Yeah, well, it's your turn next. So
it's also your turn, Trevor.
So repeat the fucking question to me again, because I'm still a little bit fucking.
So
it's late now.
You've got year 4's hosts.
Block Jason, because he is a cunt. I do love him to pieces because perhaps we're too much alike, but he's a cunt. Co-op, maybe AD. I'd put Neil for all the others because Neil would at least Neil would give me a big hug after I've kissed and abused him afterwards. This is going to make EGX very tense next year because Neil thinks I'm probably going to fucking rape him.
I feel sorry for Matt now because he's completely left out. It's like Trev hasn't really Spink at all.
I'd have a lot of time for Spinky. He's a good guy. He's a family man. I had to because I had to watch him play Fallout 4 for the charity last year, and he drove me fucking mental. Because I think, what the fuck are you doing that for? And then he accused me of sending him somewhere else. When, what? Why are you there? No one goes there when you're only level 20. Okay, Spinky and Neil together, because I think they'd both give me a cuddle after I've abused them. Maybe Neil out of fear, but maybe Matt because he'd be appreciative after I abused him. This will make the atrium bar toilets look very interesting this year.
Linton?
What about you, Linton?
So my marry would be Matt, because of how good he looked in the dress. Let's be honest, I don't want to put any of the others in a dress because I'm only using my imagination. So if you're going to marry someone, you're going to spend the rest of your life with them. So I think Matt would be there.
I'm not putting Neil in a dress. That's not how I see him. Not in the atrium bar toilets, anyway.
My snog would be Neil, purely because I wouldn't want to snog any of them, obviously. But Neil seems like the only one that would just take it and say, right, okay, we're never going to mention that again. Co-op would be Jace, because I know Jace is quite competitive. I'm very competitive, and if it came down to it and we got into fisticuffs, I think we'd be able to shake hands afterwards as well. So yeah, by default, it would have to be Block AD, and there's no reason for it. It's just because the others were more suited to the other answers. So I'm sorry, Aid.
Don't say sorry. You just cheapened it now. Yeah. I'm not saying sorry to Jace because I called him a
blocking though. No. Do you know what I mean? But it's just by default. Okay. Next question. Craig Dullahan, or Dougie, as we better know him, has asked us, what game are you most gutted about missing out on the next 12 months?
Well, for me, there's going to be at least one Final Fantasy, but I think the only other one I am really gutted that I'm not going to play day one is Ace Combat 7. Okay. I've played every Ace Combat since about 3 Electrosphere, and pretty much close to day one.
See,
and this is a PSVR one as well, and that's what I'm actually, funnily enough, more gutted about missing Ace Combat than I am the Final Fantasy. But yeah,
see, this is the thing, right? He's saying, what game are we most fearful of missing? but then we've still got our Joker. So even if I give an answer, it might not actually be missed. You know what I mean? Since I've got my Joker to use on it, I've got a gift to use. So it might not be a miss. But if I had to pick any game that's coming out next year, if it was a case of it's a clean sweep and I'm not allowed to buy anything, then it'd be Mass Effect. Of course. Gotta be. That would be the game that I would miss the most if I missed it.
I think for me, I think it's a question that's been posted a little bit too early. Because we don't know, there's been no reviews or anything like that. We're at the 19th of January. Nothing's been released yet, has it? But yeah, if you're going to pick one, because I know I'm missing out on it, I'd say Resident Evil 7.
Yeah.
Just because that's the earliest one that's coming and I know I'm not buying it. Trev?
Get it for cheaps next year.
Exactly.
That's it. It'll be a year old by the time we finish the challenge, so you'll get it for nice and cheap.
Yeah.
What about you, Trev?
I'd say the game I mentioned today is Warhammer 40k Sanctus Reach, because that is so up my street. Absolutely. And if you fuckers hadn't maybe go see what games are coming out at the last fucking minute, I didn't even know this game existed. Because the Dawn of War ones, they're fine. But that brings me back to how I started out gaming on the tabletop, and I just thought, fuck. And it's to lore as well. It's not a game that is based roughly on Warhammer. It's actually part of a well-known lore ethos of the... I am a big Space Wolves fan. My actual physical top game set is all Space Wolves, so I know who Ragnar Blackmane is. So that's the one, and I know. Yeah, I'll wait because Steam will have a fucking sale every other month, so
it'll be on the cheap.
It'll be on the cheaps next year.
Okay,
and it's January for fuck's sake. Christ, that's
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Dave Packer has asked us two questions. First one being, have Linton, Digi and Steve got a bet on who can wind up Trevor the most before he smashes something during the podcast?
I don't think we've got a bet on who's going to wind him up the most or quickest.
I think it's more of a case of him
Trev
winding
just
us
gets naturally wound up anyway.
I don't think we need to do anything.
What is it? I was very calm when we started this. Why did I get wound up tonight?
No.
As soon as we started doing press record, it's just like fuck.
Yeah. Well, no, because you didn't count it in. You just said press fucking record.
I said I'll count it in, then press record, and you just said press record and just went on your rant. I felt
Hey. So the second question from Dave Packer, he wants to know if anyone is going to out-cunt, in inverted commas, Jace Stokes this year. And I'm going to answer that for everybody. I don't think that's possible.
I was going to say, is that actually
Moving
possible?
on.
Yeah. It's,
Love you, Jace.
But he is a cunt anyway. You can't out-cunt a guy who is a cunt. That's just impossible.
Moving on. Gavin Irwin wants to know if Stephen fails, what happens to his belt that he outbid my mate at MLGX. I think
what belt?
The mate
we don't mention the belt.
We don't talk about the belt.
Yeah, the mate
it's like Fight Club.
Ben Cullen.
The first rule about Fight Club is you don't mention Fight Club. The second rule. So the belt, I have no recollection of the evening where the belt was bought.
Sorry?
I don't know what anyone's talking about.
I think I could sum it up by saying, what belt?
Yeah, what belt?
It's to be right.
I bet if we spoke to Steve's wife, she wouldn't even know there was a belt in existence.
Good job I'm editing this podcast. Well, what would I do if I'm not going to fail the challenge, so nothing is going to happen to the belt. I actually need to take it out of the box first, and it's not come out of the box since the fucking thing.
That's because it's avoided, isn't it?
It is. It will probably go back into the auction after I've used it for an autoerotic asphyxiation accident. So it will go back in with history. You won't be able to wear that belt.
Okay, so Joe Middleton has also posted two questions for us. First one being, did you listen to YoS Show 4? Of course we did. If so, what have you learned from them that will help you with the challenge?
Don't volunteer for this shit.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Jason's a cunt. That's the first thing I learned. But I've always known Jason's a cunt for years.
Again, I think it's one of those questions that are a tiny little bit too early for us to be answering in any sort of depth, isn't it? But the one piece of advice I've taken,
I suppose, what will help you with the challenge, I suppose we could answer that.
Yeah. If we change the word knob, of course. Yeah.
I think it is the advice that Jason's gave and the guys did say about it. That there are certain games that are on your pile for a reason, and don't remember you're playing these for enjoyment. If it is shit and you don't like it, don't fucking struggle through it. Just ditch it.
Yeah. That's
exactly what I was going to say.
As I said earlier, so, yeah. I agree with that.
Okay, so Joe's second question. He's asked us, on a scale of 1 to 11, how hard have you found the challenge so far?
It's 3 weeks in.
It's 3 weeks in.
Obviously, at this point for myself, it's certainly going to be a 1. It's not been a challenge because the challenge it hasn't fully sunk in yet, because to me there's still so much I've got to play. It's not like I'm starting to run out of anything anytime soon, and the release schedule has not yet really started. Give it a couple of months, then you might start seeing us sweating a little bit and maybe increasing on our DEF CON scales. But at the moment, I don't think I would be surprised if any of us had problems at this early stage.
I think Sorry, Trevor. I think we've all deliberately banked up an amount of games to get started with, haven't we?
Yeah.
So at this point, at this stage of the challenge, it's pretty much a breeze.
Kind of unintentional by me, but yeah.
yeah.
I actually downloaded Joe's. He actually did a spreadsheet of his pile of shame. He's got a lot of shit on here.
Does he?
Also, he seems to be an Xbox guy and a PC gamer, which doesn't matter. But he's got about 162ish.
Right.
I say to you, Joe, come ask us this question in May, June, and July when you're struggling as well, because that's when you're gonna hit the wall. It's about May, June, and July.
Yeah.
Especially as you seem to be a PC gamer and an Xbox One, because those fucking Steam sales, they come thick and fast, and you'll be sitting there in May, June, and July, and Steam will go, "Hey, look, buy this. It's only £3," and you'll just go, "Oh yeah, shall I take off that 150th game I've got, or shall I buy a whole pile of shit for no apparent reason?"
So, Alan,
all right, our kid.
All right, our kid. Alan Cook.
All right.
Alan Cook has asked us a question. He's
has he out?
He wants to know if, as hardware is not included in the challenge, are you going to be getting a Switch, and will you be seeing a Joker pulled out at any point to buy a game for it?
Well, I'm easy. I'm not fucking.
Yeah,
we've covered it. I'm not fucking sick.
I don't think any of us are getting the Switch this year.
We don't need another rant on the Switch, do we?
Does his parents know that he's sending email into this?
Okay,
we shouldn't have 6-year-old children sending emails.
Moving on. Neil. Obviously, Neil Jarrett, Baron Von Pleb from the previous challenge.
Yes.
Has asked us, in the event of a game playing/buying/backdoor fail or slip up, have you thought about any punishments or to inflict on your team member? For example, they have to buy said game and offer it out as a competition. We haven't actually discussed this, have we?
No, we haven't. I like his idea.
Yeah. I like the caveat that he's put on there, though. I do like that idea that if someone does break the rule, that person then has to purchase a second copy of that game, which is then donated to the community.
Yeah. But none of us are going to break the rules, are we? So
it's going to be a poor prize pool.
I'd go one better. I'll donate it for the MLGX raffle or auction.
Yeah. Because
we'll make money for charity. I'm not giving it away to community members because I don't like most of you anyway. Let's face it.
And that's our listening figures now dropped for the rest of the year.
Yeah, the fuckers will still come to listen just to see how many times I say the word cunt, because there must be some sweepstake to see.
Yeah, I'm running it.
What's going on? No, I think I'd give it for the charity.
That's a good call.
I wouldn't give it to.
Okay, yeah.
Because I'm an arsehole and I buy collector's editions. So 2 collector's editions, and it's not giveaway. I want to see people to bid that. I'll sign on it or piss on it, whatever they want me to do. But we'll auction that instead.
Okay.
It's not going to happen anyway because we're going to be tight on this.
Exactly. Yeah. What? Right. So.
Yeah. So that's all of us committing to. If we were to break the rules, then we were to buy a second copy of the game
And donate
that
it
would
to
go.
the
Yeah,
MLGX. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good with
So
that.
Mark Monaghan, yep, has posted a bit of an essay. I'm not going to read it all. I'm going to go straight to the question. Since you guys are doing this to actually save money, how much do each of you estimate you spent in 2016 on games, and how much do you think you will save during 2017?
All right. Okay. Well, so I suppose what I'll touch on first is I'm not actually doing it to save money. Really, myself, that's not the aim or the end game. That's just a side benefit of doing this challenge. My aim is to clear the pile of shame that I've got, the amount of games that I've never completed, never started, or I've fired up and not actually put the time it deserves to have into it. If we're talking about how much I've spent, oh fuck me, I would say it's easily in the thousands for 2016. Yeah. I would say £1,000 is probably a good ballpark figure, or how much I spent on games in 2016. How much am I going to save? Because I buy collector's editions. I've got quite a few sitting here right now, including I've got tons of collector's editions. So you're looking at about £100 a pop. So like 10 games, that's £1,000 collector's editions. So it's so easy to spend a lot of money on this hobby. Plus hardware, I've bought the VR last year as well. The Pro. So yeah, I've spent a shit ton of money on games and gaming related media. What am I going to save in 2017? Everything except for the Joker and my gift. So let's see, £930, I would say, or thereabouts.
Yeah. Fair days. Steve?
I can be quite honest about this. Because I'm very anal. I actually record a lot of my spending. So if I know how GTA 5 special edition copy with my import duties and everything cost me about £500. So now I'm back in Europe. Yeah, fuck me, trust me. I don't even go into The Witcher 3 because The Witcher 3 there's a Witcher 3 version for the UAE, but I bought the UK version. And the fuckers at customs raped me, literally, to bring that in. So my gaming habit when I was in the Middle East would cost me about anything between £1,000 and £2,000 a year, because I had to import the stuff in. And I won't do the PlayStation rant this month. I'll do it next month because I might have something back. Because otherwise, I can see what the time is now. We'll be sitting up at 2 o'clock in the morning with me calling PlayStation support and their legal department a bunch of cunts. And you are. But I will have the last laugh because you think I'm a 16-year-old boy and I'm fucking going away. No. I'm fucking going to get there. So, because I had to import games, my gaming habit was horrendous. And when my wife saw boxes turn up, I could see her face going, what the fuck is this? And I'd have to explain it to her, and bless her, I love her with all my heart. She's my everything. I could see her thinking, how many pairs of shoes could I've got for what's just walked through that door? Because I know that it's a PlayStation game, it's $50. Yeah, but that's not $50 just walk through the fucking door. That's like $500 that you've had to bribe your GTA 5. I used to be the biggest smuggler of GTA 5 back in Dubai because it would come through a sort of route that I have. The bar staff used to love me for giving them GTA 5 because you couldn't buy it in Dubai. You can't buy it by retail, but you can own it. Well, I used to get free bar bills just because I got GTA 5 in for the bar stuff. So yeah, my bill out here will be zero. So I bought. Well, actually, I tell a lie. I had to buy a battery for the PS4, not for PS4, the PS Vita. Amazon.ie, which is Amazon.co. How many fuckers won't deliver to the Irish Republic? It took me months to find someone who would send me a replacement PS4 battery, a PS Vita battery. See, it's late. Anyway, I'll shut up now. So yeah, I'll save a lot.
What about yourself, Steve-O?
I don't keep a tally on things, but yeah, I'd regularly spend 60 odd quid a month, and that includes your PS Plus and all that stuff. So, I've probably spent in the region 700 to 800 quid last year, and plus VR on top. That's, you're looking at 1,200 quid. No, 1,100 quid last year. So, all right, mind you, that was a one-off. I don't buy hardware that often. So yeah, I'm probably looking to save in the region 600 to 700 quid next year. But I don't keep tabs on it, so not eating baked beans, so it's fine.
That's all that matters at the end of the day, isn't it?
What about you, Linton?
Yeah.
For me, it's the past year has been a lot about saving money and preparing for the birth of our first child. But if we're talking about money out of my pocket, we're probably looking at about £500. But if you're looking at money that I've spent towards my collection, you're probably looking at double, closer to triple that. But I focus my collection pretty much on my retro stuff, and it's more about spending a couple £100 on a bundle or a bulk buy, selling on what you don't need or what you got duplicates of, and then keeping the bits that you do want. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes you make a bit of money, sometimes you get your money back. So it's difficult to put a figure.
You're one of these scalpers on eBay as well?
No, I am not a scalper at all. I will buy a bulk collection from somebody for a reduced price, and I will make my money back and keep what I want to keep. If I make a little bit of money there, then great. But I'm not in it to make money. I'm in to improve my collection and spend as little as possible doing so. Yeah. So it's difficult, like Steve, it's difficult to actually keep track of what money comes out of my pocket physically. I'm comfortable, so that's all that matters really. This year I've saved a lot of money. I'll save the past year I've saved a lot of money, and this next year I'll save a lot as well because I've scaled back the buying a hell of a lot. Penultimate question. This is from Richard Forder. Have you got a Joker klaxon? And if so, please give us a preview. Maybe something to edit in, or it might be edited into a future podcast. But at this moment, go on.
Well, he can wait his fuck's sake. He's an impatient little fucker. He can wait. He can wait.
Is it fair to say that we won't be recycling last year's Joker klaxon?
No.
It's been worked on. I did think it may have to come out early, or maybe a Resident Evil or a Mass Effect purchase. But
so we're looking more towards Mass
Effect.
Not
for me. Right? I'm looking more in your direction, Linton. So yeah, it's been worked on. I am not. You'll hear it when it is required. That's all I'm willing to say.
I feel like saying to the community, pick your games up. It's fucking January. You think we're that desperate already? That we're going to play a Joker in January?
So, final question is from Adrian. Obviously from the last year's challenge as well. Mm-hmm. He wants to know if free games are helpful or a hindrance in clearing your massive backlogs. So we're looking at PS Plus, games with gold games, I suppose.
Personally, I'm of the opinion that free games are a hindrance to clearing your pile, but they're a help when you get to the point where you're struggling to find something fresh, refreshing yourself. So they're both a help and a hindrance.
That's exactly my answer, Derek. Yeah. It's not cop out.
They could be a nice palate cleanser, couldn't they? Moving forward.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're also a quick deal because if you know they're free and you look at them, I saw the PSN Plus ones. There's one I actually have played, which is sort of a glorified gem selection, but you can see them straight away if you think, I don't understand this game. Fuck it, I'll delete
Exactly.
it. It's not a big problem.
Yeah.
But Day of the Tentacle was free, and that was worth having for free.
Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely.
Something like that every now and again.
This War of Mine, the little ones, that's another one that came out this month as well, and that's one that's been on my radar. I've never got around to picking it up, and now it's been given away free, so it's a nice one that I can come back to at some point and use it, like you say, as a palate cleanser. If I get fed up of what I'm playing, I can come back and just play Day of the Tentacle or this War of Mine, and just, play a nice little freebie game. I don't have to play it all the way through. I can just play it to refresh myself and give myself a little boost to carry on with the rest of the year. 80 should understand this, for God's sake.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, it's a bit of a false economy. Again, I took all of them, and I think I got 80. Well, and this is why I'll rant about the PSN support. I got $87 worth of stuff free whilst I live in the Irish Republic, and the currency out here is euros. So why is it in dollars? Yes, Sony support. Change my fucking region, you arseholes. and then it just shows to show what the problem is with it. But $87 worth of shit free. One of them, Day of the Tentacle, I played. I can't think what the game is called now. I did play, but the other two I looked at and I thought, one, I don't have time to work out how this works, so you're deleted. Yeah. So it doesn't really contribute a great deal.
It does if you let it. Because I unfortunately am one of those that I would download and I would mark up those PS Plus every single month without fail, and I wouldn't fire a single fucking one of them up. And it's now got to the point where I was sitting with 30 odd games on PS Plus that I'd never touched, never even looked at. So it can add up, but as long as you keep on top of it, and I can't see it hindering too much.
I totally agree with you, Derek. I'm also like that. You put them up, and I think I've put some of them into my spreadsheet and thinking. But now I'm also thinking, why did you put those in your spreadsheet? Because those are free games that deep down that when you open them up, you go, "What the fuck is this?" Done. You should have. Why did you even bother either put them on your download list or download them at all? And I think that's the trick of PSN or PSN Plus, and obviously with Games for Gold, is these guys they'll chuck you a lost leader every so often. Like the Day of the Tentacle is probably a classic one. Mm-hmm. A lot of kids aren't going to look at that game, but it'll be like old fuckwits like us who go, "Oh, it's Day of the Tentacle. I have to play this because I remember Day of the Tentacle from 1993, as Steve mentioned, because I played that game before." And I can't remember if the original Day of the Tentacle had that much voice work in it. And because it struck me yesterday struck me a couple of days when I saw it, that people were talking to me. I thought, really? Is this? I didn't think they did this. But I just assimilated that straight away that they always did. The graphics, it's a remastered version. Yeah, how do you remaster shit graphics in the first place? But you just put up with that, and it's the humour in it. It's not a spoiler, but there is a way of chucking the hamster into a microwave later on, if you're really that evil. And I think if I remember rightly, the game finishes if you chuck the hamster in the microwave. I can't remember. I might actually try and platinum that game just to see if chucking the hamster in the microwave is actually a platinum.
It's something I've never played, so I do want to actually get into there, visit it.
Because you're too young. You don't remember the old days of point and click. You have to click on everything on the fucking screen to see if it says anything.
I do there, Trevor. I do remember
of course
these
you do,
days. Yeah.
Right, so is that us for questions? Because I am conscious we are hitting two and a half hours worth of
getting on.
recording material here that I have to edit down. Domestics, before I hand over to you, Linton, this is something we've not... I don't know whether you're aware of them, but there's now a PS Plus or PSN community that people can join. So yeah, just search for Year of Shame Challenge 5, 2017. I can't remember. It was Hunter VP. Pete, he's set it all up for us. We do have as well. I have set up to which you've all been invited. You're not, Trev, because you don't have it. A club on Xbox Live. So that's, I think you search. I don't remember the name of it himself. Year of Shame Challenge. That's on there. So if you fancy it, come and join us on them, and you can see what we're playing. Hop in.
Yeah, put a shout
help us
out.
along. Yeah,
let's get together.
Yeah. But anyway, over to you, Mr. Social Media Manager, Domestics.
Okay. Yeah. Emails. You can email us yoschallenge5@gmail.com. You can find the Facebook group if you just search for YoS Challenge 5 -2017. We're on the Twitters, and that's at YoS Challenge 5. Myself, you can find me on Twitter at Linton_86. I'll leave it to the other guys to shout out their Twitter names. Derek?
Yeah, I am at a digital pariah.
Myself, Steve-O, you catch me at Steve-O-A76.
And Trevor?
Well, why does anyone want to follow me? But you can find me at TrevDXP and everything. I'm a miserable cunt. Don't come friend me unless you've met me, because trust me, you don't want to know me.
You were really put out with all those new requests last month, weren't you?
Yeah. Fucking, they scared the fucking shit out of me. What the fuck? Now, some of them I knew, but some of them thinking, who the fuck is this dude? What the fuck is this all about?
You're an internet celebrity.
No, I'm not. How do you even fucking know me? I'm a drunken guy that lives in my own reality. And trust me, my reality is good. Your reality is just scary. The Americans voted Donald Trump as president. My drunken reality is way better.
Yeah, I may not even be able to get to edit this podcast, because by this time on Saturday, the world could have ended.
Yeah, it might well could have.
Cthulhu would have risen.
He'd have made a better president, I would say.
Yeah.
So,
the guy who actually, the professor who said he would be voted in, has now said he's more likely to be impeached before the end of his 4-year term.
I did say that, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I thought that was a distinct possibility that impeachment could be on the cards. So, it wouldn't surprise me if it happens.
The guy's a fucking fraud. He's a failed businessman. He's got more sexual fucking shit coming out the window than I have. And fucking hell, I live in a small village with sheep in it. Jesus Christ, what can I connect to in the early hours of the morning?
So, moving us on ever so slightly.
Oh, sorry, did I interrupt you?
Yeah. So a massive thank you to the 140 people who downloaded the previous podcast.
Oh, cool.
If those 140 people have downloaded this podcast, they've come to listen to us talk about games and not Donald Trump. So, yeah. But 140 people, I think that's pretty damn good, to be fair.
I didn't expect it if keep it at that level.
Yeah,
that's pretty amazing.
Thank you very much to all
10.
140.
Probably not after this episode. Please give feedback. How many times do you want me to say the word cunt?
We also had our first iTunes review as well. And it was from Mr. Matthew Moore, which is very much appreciated. So thank you for that, Matthew. And that leads us to the end of the domestics, really.
Thank you, gents. It's been an emotional first episode. I think we're all unanimous that at the moment challenge is a bit easy, but as we all think, it's 3 weeks in. It is going to get harder. We may be upbeat now, but I can guarantee in 6 months' time we will be as depressed as a
Democrats.
Democrat. Yeah. I've lost where I was going now with that. Okay, thank you for listening, people. Have a good time. Enjoy what you're doing. If you're on the challenge with us,
stay strong.
Keep it strong, brothers. Thanks for listening. Bye, folks.
Bye.
Bye. Is anyone else hearing this?
Oh, he's gone.
Can you not hear me?
You've gone, Linton.
Your phone's gone. Yeah.
Is he gone? Hello? No?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. Yeah.
Not
We're not hearing you.
Hang on.
Your sound's just
Well,
literally just cut out.
I'm not made a great. Just keep chopping and I'll keep going. So you know what? I've made a great input into my pile at the moment.
Leave it recorded.
Yeah,
Linton.
yeah. Keep talking. Leave it recording, and we'll pick it up.
Okay, I think I'm back. Yep. No, okay.
Not
You
hearing
guys
it.
can't hear me.
Just keep
But
talking, mate.
anyway,
You just explain. As long as you're recording, we'll.
Oh, then he's back.
So-
He's back.
Is that you?
yeah,
there it is. Yeah,
my
you're back, you're
thoughts
back.
are
Where's
19
that
days in.
irritating noise?
19 days in.
It's you.
Jeez.
19
Trev.
days. Yes.
Well, that was a fucker because obviously
Yeah.
last year was the first year my wife arrived and then watched me bid on something and went, "How much did you say this cost?" I went, "Oh, for fuck's sake, I forgot you were here." And that was Adie's fault as well.
Yeah.
Was it that point that you explained to her that it was in yen and not pounds?
She's not Chinese, she's Filipino. If it had been Philippines currency, it would have been fucking millions. And she'd be going, you could buy a fucking entire village for what you just paid for that picture. Yeah, but I bless Tony, because Tony came up to me and said, "You do know you could do private commissions with me that are cheaper than doing this shit, and you could get what you want." I went, "Oh, yeah, really? I didn't think about that." Oh. So I have some things for Tony. I mean, I did think about doing one for Skyrim where he could put my face and the wife's face on Lydia. Maybe Lydia on fire because Lydia just drives me mental. But I do love her. But yeah. But
Yes,
It's
we
the night.
we digress.
It's normally Hunter VP that bids me up the fucking cunt as well. And I know you'll be listening to this because he's doing it. But that night was a bad night for people bidding each other up. On
Yes, it
shit
was.
that
It
they
was.
weren't
But
Most of
it
them
was
are.
all for charity.
Yeah, of course.
Anyway,
So the wife and I predicted today that within 12 months there will be an attempted assassination on Donald Trump. So let that be out there on the record. That's our
I
prediction.
don't think there will be because I'd have said the same thing about Obama. That Obama would have had an assassination. I think conspiracy number one would be he'll be impeached and his evil fuckstick vice president.
Pence. Oh
will take
yeah,
over.
yeah. If you thought
No,
Trump
no.
was bad, God Almighty.
Pence is even fucking worse. But Pence is a politician. So I would say evil conspiracy number one is they did it deliberately to get Pence in because you think, we're not voting for Pence. This guy's a big cunt. Yeah, but we're going to give this other cunt instead. I went, okay, he's on TV. We'll let that cunt go in first and then get rid of that cunt. And then you go, oh yeah, Pence is okay compared to the other arsehole. I went, no, Pence is an evil, misogynistic, cocksucking motherfucker that you've now given the button to. He's worse than that other arsehole. He just knows how to play the game. So that's conspiracy. You've heard it here. Pence will be president of the United States within a year, or maybe 2 years.
There we go.
By that time,
So-
I'd have smoked myself and dropped myself into oblivion. And then just the fact that I'm clearly just a random guy in the... I mean, you guys invited me on this. You must be thinking, fuck me. How big
Why
a
the
loose
fuck?
cannon can we have on this fucking podcast?